Let me get the mic, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. الحمد لله الذي جعل خير اللغات لغة بني إسماعيل فأنزل بها كتابه العزيز على قلب محمد بنزول جبرائيل وجعلها لسان أهل الفراديس يوم تنصب الموازين لوزن المثاقيل والصلاة والسلام على من جاء بالدين الحق فأبطل الأباطيل وأظهر الحق وجاهوى التواغيت وكشف الأضاليل وصدع بالتوحيد وأسحق الشرك وهتم التماثيل وعلى آله الغر الأطهار السادة البهليل أهل التقى الأبرار محيي الليالي بالصلوات والتراتيل وعلى أصحابه الذين علت همهم بتزكيات القرآن الأكاليل الممدحين من قبل في الزبور والتوراة والأناجيل وبعد يقول الله تعالى في كتاب الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون ويقول الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهادي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد. My honored brothers and sisters in Islam, do you feel the weight of this auspicious occasion that Allah Al-Qadir, Al-Qadir, Al-Muqtadir, وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ, the owner and controller of the fates and destinies of every single created thing, decreed that you be here right now. Boys, 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 this is not the time for talking. If you want to speak, go outside. Brother, put your phone up. These are the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you know what it means for you to be here right now? This is my 13th Ramadan as a Muslim, and it never fails to shock me how hard our hearts become. Jumu'ah in and Jumu'ah out, 52 Jumu'ahs every year. We treat it like it's just something that you just go to and sit in. No. Wallahi, thumma billahi, thumma tallahi, no. Allah decreed that you be here right now. Every 8 seconds, Allah, Jalla Jalalu, calls back one of his slaves. How many have died since the muqaddimah of this khutbah? And Allah did not decree that you be one of them. Our hearts are hard. We think that coming to Jumu'ah is a favor to Allah somehow. No, this is a favor from Allah unto each and every single one of you. And I will not hold back. I will not bite my tongue. I'm going to tell it straight. Because this could be the last Jumu'ah of your life. And I ask you by Allah, when are you going to take your deen seriously? When are you going to accept and meet the honor of what it means to be a slave of Allah? You got people that are proud to be porn stars. You got people that are proud to be rap artists. You got people that are proud to be lying, thieving politicians. Are you not proud to be a Muslim? Are you not honored by what it means to be in this masjid on this blessed day, in this blessed month? Would I gotta yell at you or something? No. It behooves me to give you a reminder that insha'Allah, for the next 167 hours of your life will benefit you. Until by Allah's permission, we come together again. So the title of today's khutbah is the Taqwa Ijazah. But before I continue, you there, champion shirt, boy, get up and move. Now, go somewhere else. Get up and move away from them. This is not the time to talk. You got 24 hours in a day to go somewhere and talk. Now's the time to listen. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, even just playing with the sand, playing with the dirt will invalidate your Jumu'ah. You think this is harsh? You think this is mean? Wait until you see Jaheel. May Allah protect you, say Ameen. The Taqwa Ijazah. We know, we hear often that the reason we fast in the month of Ramadan is so that we can achieve taqwa. But I'm here to let you know that taqwa is not just a Ramadan exclusive experience. In Surah Baqarah chapter 2 verse number 2, Allah Ta'ala tells us that the Quran is a book in which there is no doubt, guidance for people who have taqwa. That means you can sit and listen to your favorite qari all day. You can listen to Afasi all day. You can listen to Minshawi all day. You can memorize the Quran from A to Z, from Fatiha to Nas and everything in between. You can be someone who understands Arabic, but if you do not have taqwa, the Quran will not help you at all. And in Surah Baqarah chapter 2 verse 183, Allah tells us that fasting is written for us as it was written for those who came before us, so that perhaps you can lose weight because you're in a calorie deficit, shed some of that water weight, clean up your diet, stuff your face after Maghrib, take your taqwa and throw it out the window as soon as sunset comes in. So fast from sunrise to sunset and then flush all that down the toilet as soon as No. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So that perhaps you will have taqwa. That means there will be many a Muslim who comes into the month of Ramadan one way and leaves Ramadan the exact same way. Because many a Muslim, whether you have had 13 Armidah, or you had less Ramadans than that, or you've had more Ramadans than that, many a Muslim will go through Ramadan and not achieve a shred of taqwa. Perhaps you will get it. Maybe you won't. It is on you. And Allah Ta'ala tells us after the ayat of Siyam in the month of Ramadan, in the ayah in Surah Baqarah chapter 2 verse 197, on the verses of Hajj, which is 2.5 months away, So we talk about preparing for Ramadan. This is also a time to prepare for Dhul Hijjah. That the best zad, the best provision that you can take with you for Hajj is a $15,000 5-star package, a hotel close to Masjid al-Haram, for you to be in a tent on Yom al-Arafah, having a buffet on the day where you should make dua. No, the best zad, the best provision that you can take with you for Hajj is nothing short of at-taqwa. And in Surah Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse number 27, in the story of Habil and Qabil, Abel and Cain, Cain in his jealous, murderous rage of his brother sought to take his own brother's life. And Habil told his brother Qabil, go ahead and kill me. If that's what you choose to do, I will be the better of the two children of Adam. But know that Allah only accepts from who? The people who it's the intention that counts. No, that's what we say. That's not what Allah said. That's not what His Prophet said. That's not what the Quran says. That's not what the Hadith say. That Allah only accepts as long as you do what you think is best. No, rather Allah only accepts from the muttaqeen, the people who have taqwa. Bearing this in mind, my beloved brothers and sisters, the great scholar and muhaddith, whose name is found in 17,000 asanid, chains of ahadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sufyan ibn Uyayna, he told his students in a gathering not too dissimilar from this one, if Allah accepts one sajda from me in my entire life, that is better than anything I've ever done. They said, Sheikh, you, Sheikh, the great muhaddith, the great faqih, the great scholar, you want one sajda to be accepted from you? Just one sajda? We do that like at least 17 times a day. And you talking about just one? He said, yes, just one sajda would mean more to me than everything in this dunya. Because Allah only accepts from the people who have taqwa. So if in my entire life I can have one sajda full of taqwa, then it means that in that moment I finally achieved what Habil had said to his brother, that Allah only accepts from the muttaqeen. And Allah Ta'ala tells us in Surah A'raf chapter 7 verse number 26, the best clothing that you can put on is whatever name brand you can find, whatever everyone else is wearing, whatever is trending on TikTok or Instagram or anything else online. No, rather, the best libas that you can put on is the libas of taqwa. To the point where Allah Ta'ala tells us in Surah Hujurat, chapter 49, verse number 13, that out of all of humanity, mankind and women alike, Allah created us from different tribes and different nations. Why? So that you can be racist? So that you can look down on other people? So that you can laugh and mock others? No, rather, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The most honorable, noble, esteemed, prestigious person on the face of this planet is whoever has taqwa, male or female, regardless of your lineage or background, regardless of your socioeconomic status, regardless of your level of education. Why am I telling you all these ayats about taqwa? What does that have to do with the Norristown community and everyone who's listening to me now? What does that have to do with the remaining half of this month of Ramadan? Insha'Allah, in the second part of our khutbah, we will discuss that and more. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ba'd. Ahbab, my beloved brothers and sisters in faith, you live in a time where the sunnah is foreign to people. You live in a time where if someone does something like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they will even laugh at you. They will look down on you. They will mock you. They don't know that even Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam would hold staff or bow or sword while giving the khutbah. But you know, Islam means peace, so we took staff today. They don't even know that when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam would give a khutbah, that the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they said that it sounded like water boiling in a pot. That the veins would come out of his neck. Sometimes in a khutbah, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam would recite all of Surah Qaf. And that would be the whole khutbah. In one khutbah, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, send salawat upon your Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And may Allah cast far away the person who hears his name, alayhi salatu wasalam, and not send salam upon him. And that's not my dua, that's the dua of Jibril al-Amin, alayhi salam. One time in a khutbah, the Prophet ﷺ stood on the minbar, and the only thing he said is, I warn you, hellfire. I warn you, hellfire. I warn you, hellfire. To the point where Fatima bint Qais said that she was all the way on the other side of the marketplace and she could hear the Sahaba weeping and crying from just the admonition of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Our hearts are hard. Our hearts are just so hard. We come, we sit in Jumu'ah, we can barely keep our phone in our pocket. We can barely pay attention. You sitting and you watching a TV show on Netflix, you watching a video on YouTube, you locked in. Somebody gets up and says, call Allah, wa qala Rasul, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Now all of a sudden is the time to be distracted. A person gives more respect to Google and its knowledge than the people of knowledge. Google sends something, you don't think to think twice about it. A sheikh or a sheikha gets up and says something to you, and you say, well, there's a difference of opinion. I don't like the way that he said it. This, that. What are we doing? And these diseases that we have in our hearts, when are we going to finally get them cured? This is the time that these things are supposed to get cured. Ramadan is the time that it's supposed to be cured. Imam Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, and his momentous work, Lata'if al-Ma'arif, which goes through all of the merits of each of the months in a lunar cycle. When discussing the month of Ramadan, in the subcategory on the actions of the people in Ramadan, he collected the statements of a scholar by the name of Bishr al-Hafi, born 150 after Hijrah, died roughly 220 after Hijrah, rahmatullahi alayh. Where a man came to Bishr al-Hafi and said, you know, there's some people, they only really push themselves in the month of Ramadan. And then when Ramadan leaves, they leave. When Ramadan leaves, they leave. All of their jihad, all of their striving, you only see it in Ramadan. After Ramadan, it's gone. Bishr al-Hafi, he said, Bitsul Qawm. That's an evil people who only recognize Allah in Ramadan and do not think about Allah alone at all outside of Ramadan. I mention this to say to you, my beloved brothers and sisters, for all of the prestigious things that people have in this world. Somebody get $1 million, you're like, wow, that's incredible. Someone has a PhD, you say, wow, that's impressive. There is no greater thing that you can take from this dunya than taqwa. And every act of worship that we do as Muslims is designed to increase us in taqwa. That's why in just a short khutbah, I can cite to you so many ayat about the concept of taqwa. That goes from everything from the Quran itself to the clothes that you put on yourself. Taqwa. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Perhaps, maybe, you might have taqwa. You see, when you khatib and you stand on any of the manabir, locally or beyond, you look out in the audience and you see a lot of different things. You see people that are on their phone, you see people talking, you see people distracted. Some people are locked in. Most people are not. I'll just be honest with you. This is for the one who cares about achieving taqwa. Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiallahu anhu, he said, At-taqwa hiya al-khawfu min al-jalil, wal-amalu bit-tanzil, wal-qana'atu bil-qalil, wal-isti'dadu li-yawmi ar-rahil. People will say things like taqwa is God consciousness and things like this. But when you give an amorphous and ambiguous analogy or example or definition, it makes it impossible. So Ali ibn Abi Talib, he breaks it down very clean so that you can understand what taqwa is. Taqwa, first and foremost, is fear of Allah, al-khawf. Do you have any doubt that you will die? And do you have any doubt that when you die, Allah will take you into account for the life that you have lived? And do you have any doubt in the reality of the punishment of the grave? And do you have any doubt in the reality of the hellfire? How many things do we do in a day that's just a proof against us? The love and care that we show to our phone compared to the absent-mindedness and heedlessness that we show to our prayer. Can you imagine on the day of judgment your phone being a proof against you? Your eyes that you use to look at the sinful. The ears that Allah blessed you with to listen to what displeases Him. Can you imagine? Because if you can't imagine that, then what you feel as a result of that reality is khawf. My beloved brothers, we have lots of space here. Please come close to one another. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the hadith collected in Sunan Abi Dawood, he would tell the Sahaba, come close, come close, come close, and pay attention. He alayhi salatu wasalam said, a person will continue to distance himself, talking about the people in Jum'ah. They will continue to distance themselves until they distance themselves from Jannah. But they'll get in eventually. Don't be from those who get in eventually. Be those who pursue it to get in immediately. Like I said, this is for the people who care. My beloved brothers and sisters, it's a scary reality that a person, for all of the things that they know that they have done, that they should have fear of Allah for, al-khawfu min al-jalil, still doesn't prompt them to want to have al-amalu bit-tanzil, actions that are in accordance with revelation. Whenever you follow traffic laws when you're driving, it's because you trust that if you do your parts and everyone else does their parts, then you will get to your destination safe and sound. Sah or la? It's true. The difference between life and death when you get in 2,000 pounds of mechanized steel is little thinly painted lines on the road and lights hanging from wires in the sky. And we have faith in that. Do you think that the person who came up with traffic laws and stoplights and traffic signs has more hikmah than ahkam al-hakimin? Khairul hakimin? Al-hakim al-hakim? So when Allah tells you do this, don't do that, do you think that you know something that the one who put the brain in your skull does not know? Al-amalu bit-tanzil wal-qana'atu bil-qalil. My beloved brothers and sisters, whenever you break your fast, you drink some water, you eat some dates, if you wait 15 minutes, you'll realize you're really not that hungry. But what happens? We rush to stuff our face, our eyes are bigger than our stomach, and we end up wasting more than we even consume, and we consume more than we need. Contentment with a little bit leads to a great deal of happiness. And yes, we do live in America, land of the free, allegedly, until some executive order comes and says otherwise, I guess. No, rather, my beloved brothers and sisters, the executive order is with Allah. And Allah has told us time and time again that He is sufficient for us. Allah is sufficient for us. Whether in your marriage, with your children, with your parents, with your school, with your grades, with your bills, with your debts, with your health, Allah is sufficient. And if only we locked in that truth, we would find happiness, that trying to buy our way to happiness, trying to consume and entertain our way to happiness will never give us. وَالْإِسْتِعْدَادُ لِيَوْمِ الرَّحِيلِ. O child of Adam, as Al-Hasan al-Basri, rahimahullah said, Ya ibn Adam, O child of Adam, you are nothing but days. When a day passes away, you pass away with it. Every single one of you is closer to the day that the angels of death will take your soul than you are to the day that you were born. Do you know that? Then you better act like you know. Isti'dad, preparation. Are you ready for the moment that you go back to your Lord? In just the past 2 weeks, between the Khair community, the Norristown community, and the Devon community, and other masajid within the area, we've had no less than 10 deaths that have been announced. No less than 10. We say, alhamdulillah, that the souls were taken in Ramadan. What a blessed time to go back to Allah. But you and I don't have that guarantee. We need to carry that taqwa with us all the time. Every single time you pray, you get access to that taqwa ijazah. Every single time you hear Quran, you get access to that taqwa ijazah. When will you take this spiritual qualification and live it like you know it? This is a question that we all have to ask ourselves. So maybe me as a khatib, maybe my khutbah, the way I delivered it, I'm deficient. Pardon me, may Allah pardon you. But the truth of what I said, keep it and take it with you. Let today be the day that you leave the masjid a better man, a better woman than you were coming into it. Let today's 2 rak'atayn, let today's prayer be the prayer that when you say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, let that taslim be the taslim where now you take that salam with you outside, where you take it into your marriage, where you take it towards your children, where you take it to your parents, your in-laws, community members, where after the taslim today you give salam to someone that you don't know. Live with this taqwa, my beloved brothers and sisters. And the last thing I will say is Jeff Bezos with all his billions could never ever buy what taqwa gives. Allah Ta'ala tells us in Surah At-Talaq, chapter 65, the end of verse 2. And if you don't take anything else from this khutbah, keep this one. Whoever has taqwa of Allah, Allah will make a way out for you. This is the superpower of the believer. Your taqwa is the way out of the sins that you've carried for so long. Your taqwa is the way out of the difficulties you see in your life. Your taqwa is the way out of every problem that you've ever experienced. And what's the point of giving a khutbah if when you leave here you have no incentive to open a Quran? When you leave here, open your Quran app, because Allah knows we use our phone to look at many superfluous, miscellaneous, and unbeneficial things. Open your Quran app, go to chapter 65 and read verse number 3. A promise from Allah for the muttaqeen. And we ask Allah to make us from the muttaqeen. We ask Allah to forgive us for the many shortcomings in our ibadat. We ask Allah to accept our fasting from us. We ask Allah to accept the sadaqah that we've given. We ask Allah to accept all of our dua, right down to the whispers of our hearts. Anyone in here who is going through any difficult situation or circumstance, I ask Allah to make a way out for you. And I ask Allah to make you muttaqi, to make you a person of taqwa as a means of having that way out for you. Allahumma ighfir lil muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat wa aqim as-salat. Up here? Sure. Yeah. Let's make another row here so we can make more space for everyone, inshallah. Yeah. How you doing, man? Good. All right.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
Come close to each other.
حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Come close to each other. Close this way. Close the gaps. My beloved brothers and sisters, please straighten the lines and close the gaps. Come close to one another. The perfection of the salah lies in the perfection of the sufuf and thus the safat. Each and every single one of you. No space between your shoulders. Come close to each other. Yes. Close those gaps. Don't let shaitan come between us. Sisters as well, please make sure at least your shoulders are connected throughout the prayer. Pray this prayer as if it were your last. شيخ قراءات يجوز؟ لا يجوز قراءات؟ في رواية سوسي إن شاء الله. الله أكبر. سبحانك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكن خيرا منهن ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعد الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. والعاديات ضبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا فأثارن به نقعا فوسطن به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود إن الإنسان لربه لكنود إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. تناي بركاته. أشهد أما إني أعوذ برضاك من سخطك وبمعرفتك من عقوبتك وأعوذ بك من نفسي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. What's up?
65 ayat 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Alaikum salam. How you doing, huh? Bismillah. Alaikum salam. How you doing, huh? Isa. Nice to meet you.
I'm in the Caribbean, and